Hello there everyone, this is the Loudmouth37, and yes, I know it's been a long time, uni, stuff to do, that's all I can really say, but now I have a new video camera, and I believe it records in HD quality, so hopefully my hand's coming through decently. Sadly, no more 8 megapixel shoots with the Samsung Galaxy S2, although that has done us well, so I thought the first new video with a new setup would be something I originally started, which was showing my Doctor Who DVD collection. And I'm happy to announce that the collection is actually now complete, at least the classic collection, and has been for a while now. I did, for those of you who remember way back, I did beat my target of acquiring all the available classic stories by November 2015, which would have been 10 years since I started collecting. But without further ado, let's have a quick scan. Oh, and look, it zooms. Yeah. Fancy stuff. So we got all the, Unearthly Child, the Daleks, the Edge of Destruction, Keys of Marinus, the Aztec Special Edition. Oh, that's something I want to point out. In terms of editions, if it's been re-released as a special, I aim to get it as a special, so I don't think you'll see the original copies here. So, disclaimer. The Sensorites, The Reign of Terror, Planet of Giants, Dalek Invasion of Earth, The Rescue, The Romans, The Web Planet, the Space Museum, The Chase, The Time Meddler, The Ark, The Gunfighters, The War Machines, and the final First Doctor story, The 10th Planet. Now onto Troughton stuff that's available. Sadly there isn't much. The Underwater Menace. Now, of course, this is the most recent classic story release. Episodes 2 and 3 are intact. 1 and 4, I know they've done telesnaps, and I don't know why, I don't know what the problem was with animation, like, something to do there wasn't the budget, but still an interesting little story. The Moonbase, Tomb of the Cybermen Special Edition, The Ice Warriors, The Enemy of the World, The Web of Fear. The Enemy of the World, by the way, is a cracking story. I remember when it was only part 3 that existed and I watched it on Lost in Time, I didn't think much of it, but it's actually a great story, especially for Patrick Troughton and his acting ability. What else do we have? Where did I get up to? Not that one. The Dominators, The Mind Robber, The Invasion, The Crotons, The Seeds of Death, and The War Games, which is so much better than everyone gives it credit for. People just say episode 10's the best because it introduces the Time Lords and that whole mythology, but the whole story, I think, holds up, especially for 10 episodes. Right, now we get into Pertwee Era, and it's a little dark, but we'll see what we can do. So, Spearhead from Space Special Edition, Doctor Who and the Silurians, The Ambassadors of Death, Inferno Special Edition, which is one of, if not my favourite Jon Pertwee story, Terror of the Autons, The Mind of Evil, The Claws of Axos Special Edition, which is part 4 of this story, is hands down one of the best episodes of Doctor Who ever, in my opinion. Colony in Space, The Demons, Day of the Daleks, The Curse of Peladon, The Sea Devils, The Mutants, The Time Monster, The Three Doctors Special Edition. Obviously, I have kept the original. It's tucked away somewhere because that was my first ever Doctor Who DVD, so it's special. It's very special. Carnival of Monsters Special Edition. Again, a contender for my favourite Pertwee story. Frontier in Space, Planet of the Daleks, and right at the end, The Green Death Special Edition. Right, now we're going to move downwards. So we're going to move. Okay, let's see. So we'll continue with Pertwee for a while. The Time Warrior, first time Gallifrey's mentioned. Invasion of the Dinosaurs. Death to the Daleks. The Monster of Peladon. And the final Pertwee story, not that one, Planet of the Spiders. And then moving on to Toothy Old Tom with Robot. The Ark in Space Special Edition, one of his best. The Sontaran Experiment, Genesis of the Daleks, which at the time I got this, back in 2006, was still voted the #1 Doctor Who story ever. I disagree, and so do the fans over the years. I think it's currently Day of the Doctor, 50th anniversary. Revenge of the Cybermen, Terror of the Zygons, which was originally it was planned to be the last classic DVD release, but when they found Enemy of the World and Web of Fear, that soon changed. And Planet of Evil, Pyramids of Mars, The Android Invasion, The Brain of Morbius, The Seeds of Doom. This shelf's a bit tight. Let's just wiggle something out there, give it a bit more leg room. Okay, where did we get to? There. Okay, next season, The Mask of Mandragora, The Hand of Fear, Sarah Jane Smith's final classic story, as it proudly boasts. The Deadly Assassin, one of the finest examples of Doctor Who ever. The Face of Evil, not the finest example of Doctor Who ever. That's a bit too far. Still doing this the old way. The Robots of Death Special Edition. The Talons of Weng Chiang Special Edition. And moving on, Horror of Fang Rock. The Invisible Enemy. Image of the Fendal. The Sunmakers. Underworld. The Invasion of Time. The Ribos Operation, I think it's Ribos, now I think about it. The Pirate Planet, we're in the Key to Time season now. The Stones of Blood. The Androids of Tara. The Power of Kroll. And the Armageddon Factor, where we first hear the Doctor's nickname, Theta Sigma. And bonus points if you can guess what the other story is before I get to it. And now, moving on, Destiny of the Daleks, City of Death, Creature from the Pit, Nightmare of Eden, The Horns of Nimon, Sharda, which of course was never completed, but they've used I think it was the 1992 linking narration by Tom Baker. Interesting little story. The Leisure Hive, now we're into the 80s, Meglos, Full Circle, start of the E-Space trilogy, State of Decay, Warrior's Gate, which is weird as fuck, Keeper of Traken, which reintroduced the Master, and Logopolis, Tom Baker's final story, ending a 7-year run with the show. And it's a damn good way to end as well. Moving on to Peter Davison, Castrovalva, Forward to Doomsday, and Kinder, which introduces the Mara. And the story I put back down is the Visitation Special Edition. And this was the story that completed the collection. This was the last classic DVD I had to buy. So yeah, that's a special one, because that marks the end. I'll sort that out later. Moving on to the final row. So we're still with Peter Davison. We've got Black Orchid, Earthshock, which is one of the finest Doctor Who stories ever. Time Flight, not so one of the finest stories ever. Why does Doctor Who have a penchant for that? It can have a great story followed by a not so great story. Where are we? There we are. Arc of Infinity, Snake Dance, Mordrin Undead, Terminus, Enlightenment, The King's Demons, The Five Doctors 25th anniversary edition, the second Doctor Who classic DVD I picked up, and this is jam-packed with extras, so if you have the 1999 original release or just don't own the story, I highly recommend this version. Moving on to his final season, Warriors of the Deep, The Awakening, Frontios, Resurrection of the Daleks Special Edition, Planet of Fire, and in 2009 was voted the greatest Doctor Who story of all time, The Caves of Androzani Special Edition, which I'm very much in that this is one of the finest Doctor Who stories of all time. And then we get the Twin Dilemma to kick off Colin Baker. Now, this has been routinely voted the worst, quote, worst Doctor Who story ever. It's not the best, but I'm very much of the opinion I think there's merit in every Doctor Who story, no matter if you look hard enough, and this is no exception, but it isn't the best, but it's continually voted the worst, following at one point the best. So, anyway, moving on. Attack of the Cybermen, Vengeance on Varos Special Edition, which I love, Mark of the Rani, The Two Doctors, which, if you get the new copies now, this is the original 2003 release, and this has the bonus feature, A Fix with Sontarans, which was on Jim'll Fix It. Now, of course, if you know about the Jimmy Savile case, new versions of this, I believe, don't have that feature anymore, and we'll say no more on the matter. Timelash, Revelation of the Daleks, then The Trial of a Time Lord season, parts 1 to 4, The Mysterious Planet, parts 5 to 8, Mind Warp, parts 9 to 12, Terror of the Vervoids, and parts 13 to 14, The Ultimate Foe. Then on to Mr. Sylvester McCoy, Time and the Rani, Paradise Towers, Delta and the Bannerman, Dragonfire, now on to the 25th anniversary season, Remembrance of the Daleks Special Edition, which again is one of my favourite ever stories, The Happiness Patrol, Silver Nemesis, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, Battlefield, Ghostlight, The Curse of Femric, which is an amazing story, and Survival. And of course we can't forget the TV movie Special Edition with Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor, more than 30 years in the TARDIS, which was the 30th anniversary documentary, which you can get this with the box set with Sharda. And I got this recently, but I was holding off for ages. This is Scream of the Shalka, which was a 2003 BBC I webcast with Richard E. Grant as the Doctor, whom you may better known as Mr. Simeon in episodes like The Snowmen, Name of the Doctor, and Matt Smith's time. It's alright. I mean, it's hard because back then, obviously, Flash animation was still relatively new, and it's very limited when you look back at it 13 years later. But, you know, for completionist's sake. And Lost in Time, which contains all the remaining episodes of missing stories from Mr. Hartnell and Mr. Troughton's era. Obviously, some are a bit redundant now, like Enemy of the World Episode 3 is on there, Underwater Menace Episode 3 is on there, Web of Fear Episode 1, but it's still good for all the other stories on there, like the 3 surviving parts of Daleks Master Plan and stuff. Just for extras, we've got An Adventure in Space and Time, which was the documentary in the 50th anniversary, docudrama, which was the making of Doctor Who, with good old Mr. Filch, David Bradley as William Hartnell. Got Day of the Doctor, of course, the actual 50th anniversary special. K9 and Company, which was the spin-off in 1981, that I haven't actually watched, and I'm not quite sure if I want to. And just a bonus, got the complete 8th season, Peter Capaldi's first season as the Doctor, and also the complete 9th series, which was the series most recently broadcast. So yeah, guys, that's it. The Doctor Who collection is finally complete. And I just thought this would be a nice way to make another video with a new setup, because this is obviously how I started a long, long time ago. So hopefully more videos will be coming. Now they'll be easy to make with this camera. And, quick mention, all my boxes are now up here. So we've got all the... I'll just let you have a look at those, which is all the different classic box sets available for you to buy. Just zoom out a bit there. And I've also put some up here, like the K9 and Company, Time Flight, you know, the stories no one really wants to watch that much. The 3 revisitation box sets and my limited edition Web of Fear. So yeah, that's about it, guys. So thank you for watching, and you'll see me next time. But who knows, eh? Who knows? Until then, goodbye, my friends. Goodbye.